Today I want to talk about understanding your effect. What I mean by that, people, is maybe you've known this your whole life. And I think you found this out even as children. You found out you had an effect on people. You had an effect on situations just by being there. Maybe you walked into a room. You walked into a friend's house. You walked into somewhere. And you felt the demeanors change. You felt moods change. You felt certain people start acting different, start quieting down a little more. Or in some cases, some people started getting agitated and talking more, getting more irritable. And these were all effects that you were having that you may not have even understood or even known. Now, a lot of times early on in your life, you felt this every time and everywhere you've gone. There's no way I'm doing this. I can't do that. Nobody can do that. Nobody can affect certain things. But somehow you felt this, even early on. You've always felt this. In fact, you'd walk into the room and you'd pick up on the emotions. You'd start feeling things, thinking maybe they were yours, but almost reading the room instinctively, even unaware of what you were doing. But all the time, all along, you were affecting things around you without even knowing. Oh, this is Tom, and this is the INFJ experience, and that's what I want to talk about, is understanding your effect, basically anywhere, just effect on the world, I guess you could say. So, basically, number one is our presence in a popular place. As I just said, typically, as you understand who you are, as you understand that you are an INFJ and you have empathic qualities, you have intuitive qualities, maybe you start to develop, you'll start fine-tune your gift, your presence, as you might say. And you'll start understanding this. Like I said, it's always been there. You might have seen this happening as children, but just couldn't believe that it was anything that you were capable of actually doing. In a sense, you were right along doing this without even knowing it. So you had a certain presence in a popular area. Like I said, you walk in and you could feel a tempo change. You could feel people's emotions change. Maybe you felt it got quieter. Maybe you felt certain people getting more agitated, more fidgety, more nervous. Now, these are the people that were picking up on your traits. These were people that were maybe narcissistic. These are people, toxic people, that were actually sensing you, that were actually nerved by your presence, that were starting to compensate, get a little bit more loud, a little bit more aggressive, because they felt that as though they were losing something. They were being overdubbed by something that they couldn't even explain by themselves. And you've seen this happen time and time again through your life. You thought it's an isolated incidents. It can't be me. You tell yourself that. But all right along, these things have been happening. A lot of it is just your effect. Just as the gears affect another gear, when one spins, it causes and affects another gear. In the metaphysical world, in the mechanical physical world, these things happen. Well, in the human world, in the human nature world, our effects have causes and effects as well on people and around us. Now, some people, depending on their personality type, well, let's just take the ESTP, which is basically opposite the INFJ. They're extroverted and they're sensors. So, and of course, they're thinkers and perceivers. Now, their presence is usually a very physical one. It's a boisterous one. Usually they're the types that are very into their physicality and their presence and just the way they demeanor a room in a physical sense. I mean, usually you could see them coming in, they're usually flashy. Their attention drawn to them in a sense way. And usually they command a certain presence about them. Now, of course, other types have variations, but typically the INFJ is the introverted intuitive, and they have that internal effect that comes out kind of a subtle, quiet, subconscious, subliminal way, in a way. Just their presence, their FE, as it emanates out, their empathy doesn't just absorb emotions, it actually projects what's within them to the outside as well. So there's a cause and effect. They're absorbing, but they're also projecting out at the same time. Whether or not you knew that about your empathy, it does actually have a projecting quality as well, where you affect people around you based on what's going on inside of you. So a lot of times, if you're not aware of this, you may pick up of other emotions. And if you're thinking they're your own, you start changing your emotions. All right. And then you start almost like reverberating their emotions back, almost causing like depending on what the emotions are, a kind of a tornado in a sense, in a metaphysical kind of tornado in a sense. So these are the effects we have in our lives that we're not even aware of. But as we start becoming aware of these, as you fine tune these, it's almost like taking a car that you couldn't drive, and all of a sudden you're able to just maneuver this car. In other words, you know how to feather the brake, you know how to feather the throttle just right, without over exceeding it, without over braking, things like that. Your mind and your FE and your whole honing of your skills will fine tune as well. Okay? So, that's all part of feeling the mood change, okay? Yeah, you can walk into a room, let's say anywhere. You just go into a certain situation. Maybe you felt this right along. You feel a mood change. A lot of times you will feel it. I mean, I've been in situations where I walk in and I'm just me. But sometimes I feel certain things change, almost like air getting sucked out of a room, depending on where I am or what I'm doing. Sometimes I feel demeanors just change. I hear conversations quiet down sometime. I know. I have a certain effect of my own that I've always had, and as I get older, I do start seeing it more and more. But it seems like it's a pattern everywhere I go. But then again, like I said, you actually can feel moods change. Now, depending on who's around you, like I said, toxic people, negative people may get agitated. You may even start seeing certain people over the course of time, depending on how long you stay there. It may just get quieter, and certain people would just disappear. All of a sudden, you'll feel as though you're almost alone again. It almost feels like you're isolating. This is one of the downsides, is that a lot of times our presence may actually repel certain people. They may feel uncomfortable around your presence at a lot of times, and your effect may just cause them to be repelled. Now, okay, so number 3 is picking up on the other's vibes. Okay, maybe I just said that. Yeah, well, you pick up on other people's vibes all the time. Yeah, just that. I mean, now, again, early on in your life, you've always been doing this. You just weren't aware of this. Early on, you were blind to this, and maybe you still are. But you're feeling this, but you're not even sure that you're affecting people. You just know things change maybe when you're around you, but you don't think you're capable of this kind of thing, but you are affecting things. Just because you are an INFJ. True INFJs just naturally command certain effects. Like I said, just as other types that convey certain effects on a sensing world, a sensing level, you're commanding these on a more of an internal level, projecting out. Yes, part of it is your presence, but it's your demeanor, maybe your stillness, your quiet, your stoicism, actually project a certain way about you that is felt and affected by others around you as well. Okay, toxic ones disperse first. I think I already said that. I wrote a few things down here what I was going to talk about. And yes, typically, like I said, toxic people, you will notice that certain people may get louder. They may get more agitated in a certain situation. They may start getting more irate. I've seen this happen, actually, people, where certain people that are triggered by your presence. It's almost like, in a sense, when you show the cross to a vampire and they shriek and they just want to get away from that. It's maybe that's a poor analogy, but in a sense, it's similar to what that might happen. You will start seeing certain toxic people get actually feel as though they're threatened in a corner. Not because of you directly. You could be just in the room, and you'll start detecting this. And you may start hearing people get louder, getting a little more obnoxious around people just because they're being agitated. Somehow they're picking up on your empathy. that you're projecting out. Maybe your calm empathy, and if they have a toxic mindset, they're going to start reacting to that in a more of a boisterous way. And eventually these people may just leave the area. I've seen people actually over time do just this. This is all accounts on my own experience. And a lot of times I try to say, it's not me doing this. It can't be me. But then it seems to be certain situations, it happens more than once. And I'm sensing this. But the thing is, a lot of times I'm kind of knowing what's going to happen before it happens, as it happens. So and I'm thinking, well, that can't be coincidence. This happens where it is. It's got to be what it is. So we're getting to be, as an INFJ, you can actually get to be more of the master of your cerebral presence. Just knowing you are not just the master of it, but just aware. And the older you get, the more you fine tune this, the more presence it will take shape in your life. The more it starts to unfold around you, and you're aware of these things. Yeah, so trust me, people, we do have this. Now, finally, your state of mind is usually the way it affects. Now, depending on your state of mind, people, if you're in a bad mood, if you're in a toxic mood, if you're in a bad frame of mind, and you have a certain dark cloud over you, it's going to affect people around in a negative way too. Believe it or not, whether you know it or not, people, you have to understand, as an INFJ, your presence, your persona, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether it's neutral, whatever it is going to affect those people around you. You may feel a room quiet down as you walk into it. What once was noisy and talkative, you may start hearing it quiet down to match your quietness. If you're in a stillness, if you're in a peaceful state of mind, you're going to see people around you start getting more peaceful in a sense. Of course, except for the ones that are going to start getting agitated, and usually they don't stick around long. These are part of your observations that you'll have through your life. You'll start seeing these things happen. And it's just who you are. True INFJs have these effects, whether they know it or not. It's just who we are. It is just part of our makeup to understand these things and to finally fine-tune them. But again, people, above all, as INFJs, we have a certain function of duty in this world. And we have a certain presence in this world that's supposed to counterbalance this world in some way. We're rare, very rare, but our presence are felt in some way. It's hard to describe, but it is there. But above all, people, always have a good heart, have a good soul, have a good spirit, do good for the world. Always remember, you have a dark side. We all have a dark side. We're human beings after all. And that dark side can radiate just in the same way that the light will. Okay? So, people, take my advice. Always be the light of the world. Okay? All right. Well, anyway, people, I think I've said enough. All right? Well, anyway, people, if you like this content, give me some thumbs up and support my channel. Subscribe to my channel and give me some comments above all. I'd love to hear your input on this matter. And if anything like this has ever happened to you, I'd like to hear about it, okay? All right. Well, anyway, until the next time, until we do this again, thanks again. And have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.